Welcome y bienvenidos to Presently Aquí, a podcast created just for you, a place to find tools, insights, and a gentle guidance to nurture your self love journey. Together, we'll connect with extraordinary healers from around the world, uncovering their wisdom, unique gifts they share to help us lead healthier, more loving lives, beginning with ourselves. And today I have Susan. Hi, Susan.
Hello, Claudia. How are you?
I'm so excited to have you and your beautiful, amazing energy. Like her name is supercharged. She is always supercharged, guys. Like, like even now, if you don't feel it, like you're gonna get it by at least 15 minutes into this conversation. I guarantee you.
I hope you're so great to be
Yes,
here, and I was
yes. Thank you.
delighted to be here, excited to be here, and thank you for having me.
Oh my God, so excited. So, Susan is a passionate advocate for transformation and human potential. She is a manifestation and mindset coach, peak performance expert, and global speaker dedicated to raising consciousness one soul at a time. After retiring from real estate in 2020, she stepped fully into her divine purpose, guiding others to design a life they love by mastering the most valuable real estate of all, their mind. And you know, her and I, we're that there. With a background in high level coaching and unshakable belief in her power of mindset, she empowers individuals to co create their reality with intention and purpose. Yes, that's you, girl. That's all you. So, before we get into this supercharged conversation, we're gonna need this. We're gonna take some meditation breathing techniques for now for a minute. So if you're driving, please just forward this and not do that while you're driving. I appreciate it. Otherwise, you can try it later. So we're going to come to a comfortable seated position, and we're going to close our eyes. Or if you feel comfortable, put your eyes somewhere that is looking down, not being distracted by anything. So for the first few deep breaths we're going to take, we're going to just be with ourselves, however that shows up. So we're going to take 2 to 3 deep breaths just to sit with who we are. And in your next inhale, you're going to inhale deeply and feel into your body. See if you need to adjust how you're sitting. If you're uncomfortable anywhere, any aches, just notice, no judgment. And on your next deep inhale, we're going to inhale and be present with our minds. No matter how many thoughts we're thinking, doesn't matter, just be with your mind. Just be with all the thoughts and the feelings. No judgment. Just being here now with them. And on our final deep breaths, we're going to deep inhale into our heart space. And I would recommend 3 deep breaths here and see if there's any message that your heart has for you today. And when you are ready, just come back to here now and slowly open your eyes. Hey, now we're ready to be supercharged. Yes. No, you're amazing. So let me tell everybody, I had this conversation with Susan. I always have a pre-chat with all my guests to make sure we're in alignment, right? And everything that I read about who she is and what she does, she does. This is who she is. I was telling her about the podcast and she's like, no, tell me about you. And I was like, oh, I want to go to Europe and I want to do this. And she's like, it's done. What else do you want? It's happening. What else? And this is how you're going to have it accomplished. And I was just like, oh, she was helping me. Wow. Like, she really, like, after leaving her conversation, I felt, I get why you call it supercharged, but I also felt empowered and ready. I was like, yeah, why don't I just go to Europe? What is my deal? It was beautiful, and I appreciate that. So for everybody out there, just before we even get into this conversation, like, if you're looking for someone to empower you in ways that you never felt or imagined to feel as you're working with someone, this is the person. If you want a message, this is it. Um, no, Susan, please. I would love to know, how did this start for you? How did this supercharged Susan, is this always, were you always embodying this amazing supercharged, or how did you find this within you?
Oh, thank you so much for your kindest words. And you, biggie soul, by the way, you're not just beautiful outside, you're such a brilliant soul inside. You're so magical,
Hmm.
Claudia. And it is done. And for whoever's listening in, Claudia, going all over Europe doesn't leave any less for you. There's infinite supply. And we'll talk more about it if there's an opportunity. It started with this, the very long story short, this is the only thing I've ever wanted to do, Claudia, since I was a kid. Of course, I didn't know
Wow.
a coach. I wanted to be a speaker. I'm a
Right.
speaker and a coach, and they're one of the same for me. It's very similar, I should say, not one of the same. And it's serving
Right.
our human race. I believe
Right.
we're all servants, and we're here to hold each other's hands, to return to remembering who we are. So I wanted it since childhood. I never believed in myself. And as you read in my bio there, or mentioned in my bio, it was right before COVID 2020. And the reason I didn't is because I didn't believe in myself. I felt supercharged, but I didn't, if that makes any sense. And then I finally made one decision pre-COVID. It was the best decision of my life. I retired from real estate, as you mentioned, and I happened to attract the number one Remax worldwide. That happens to be a Canadian Remax, where I'm from Toronto, fill up all my coaching spots during COVID. So when you make a decision, the universe will literally move mountains to make everything you want happen. And if that seed is within you, which everyone listening in are precious, your precious listeners, our precious listeners, we're all one. Um, uh, if that seed of desire is in you, the creator planted that in you for you to bring it to pass. It's our job, it's our duty, and it's our responsibility to jump on that cord and play full out. And it all happens by serving our humankind, by sharing our gifts. So thank you so much for having me. I'm getting goosebumps. You give me so many goosebumps,
Oh,
girl.
you give me goosebumps. I feel like I can go do anything every time I talk to you. I feel like,
And
seriously, I want to be in the Olympics. Done. I love it. I love it. So, who supercharges you? What do you, who is your mentor? Who does, like, like, seriously.
this is a great question. I have many mentors. I've had many mentors.
Mm,
I ongoingly invest in myself. I think it's the number one. You're your number one asset, and you're
yeah,
really
yeah.
number one of one. You're God's highest form of creation, and for whoever doesn't believe in God, I use the word interchangeably with Gus,
Mm-hmm.
God, universe, spirit, source,
Mm, mm,
infinite intelligence, creator. Right? Um, uh, I got through the knowingness. I suffered a lot, like on the path to get
yeah,
here, and we don't get anywhere, as you know. It's an ongoing
right.
journey. It's so beautiful. I at the moment I've gotten that that I am God's child, and I love that podcast. I love your podcast, period. But I was listening as I shared with you, with the one with Kate, and that knowingness of who we are and having that worthiness, which I never had it. Outside I seemed like this. That's what I was saying. If like I seemed supercharged, but I wasn't. So the outside was fake, if you will, because I never grew up learning to actually feel my feelings like most, to be
Right.
vulnerable like most.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, toxic positivity. Hey, it's Susan. How are you? Meanwhile, it
Mm-hmm.
was in the inside wasn't the same. So doing the
Mm-hmm.
inner work, the subconscious work, the subconscious reprogramming, which is our journey, because the subconscious
Yes.
literally is infinite. You are truly infinite. They're not just words. And when we step into that, we have the choice. And for whoever's listening in and is struggling, I don't want it to seem like rah rah. She's here, she's bubbly, she's enthusiastic.
Yeah.
She made it her goal.
Yeah.
If I made it, you can do it 100%, right? Because I had a degree in drinking from the University of Toronto. That's all I did. My paradigm is only interested in drinking, eating, partying, in drinking, eating, sleeping. It's now the awareness, if you will, Claudia, of my soul self that we're limitless souls. We have this beautiful vessel for a very short period of time, you know, like, and our job is literally to jump on the court, play full out, and serve our human souls, one precious soul at a time. That's it. And imagine how joyful our lives would be if every day we look to see how we could bring value to our mankind. And our biggest job prior to that is filling up our own cup so that we're not giving from our cup, we're giving from the overflow, the saucer, right?
Right.
And our
Right.
biggest job is to take care of self. Everyone, you are Michelangelo's David, right?
Mm.
We're chipping away because you're already born in the perfect vibration. You were born
Yes.
as perfect Babel, baby,
Yes.
excuse me, not Babel,
The label.
baby
Mhm.
Claudia, right?
Mhm.
No one, no mother or father, or no one would say, oh, what a bad baby, or oh, he cried too much, or she's wanting to eat too much. And we were born in joy. One,
Right.
we
Right.
only cried when we needed a couple of necessities, and then we went back
Mhm.
to joy. We never made ourselves wrong. We never touched our toes or and said they're too big, or our legs and say like, wow, they're quite
Mm.
chubby. We loved, and that's
Mhm.
the vibration we were born. And then we forgot, as you know, through the
Yes.
programming, right? So our work is to unlearn and unleash by removing the shackles
Yeah.
that society, religion, media, mass media, our families, the school system have put
School
upon.
system.
Yeah,
No, seriously, yeah. Truly. Truly, the programming is deep. It's deep, but it's beautiful. So just yeah, we didn't even get into what I said 15 minutes and she beat me 10 minutes. She right. But you get a sense of like where this passion, right? Like where you coming from? Like, yeah, I've always wanted that. You were like since a child, I wanted to be this. And just having that and having so much conversation with you, it's like, yeah, no wonder you always knew where your next journey was. So you used it with me a little while ago, that you yourself from the future pulled you here. Like, yes,
yes,
and here you are, and
yes,
and having the awareness of the struggles and the suffering that we have to go through, in order to remember, right? The remembrance is so important, that part.
yes.
Remembering, just
Oh, it, yes, that is perfect, Claudia. The remember,
mm,
that's really key.
that's it's remembering. I mean, I can attest to that, and just remember, like, oh my God, all the ways that we blocked ourselves from remembering, all the programming that keeps us from remembering, all the pain and trauma that keeps us from remembering, all the distractions
Yes,
that
yes.
keep us from
Ooh,
remembering,
right,
right?
right,
I know
right.
I talked about that today, my Mindful Monday, about like, detaching from your phone. Like, can you do that? Because this is scary. The scary part is that we don't know that we're addicted to our phones
Yeah,
and no one talks about it.
yeah,
We have a problem. We have
yes.
an addiction in our society and no one knows. How did it happen? How did it start? Well, all of a sudden we're just like, I don't know, it just got here. you know, and we just
Huge,
can't stop. It's crazy.
huge.
So like for you to just be out and like, yeah, but for you, you're like, yeah, it's a part of my job. It's not the job. Like being
Yeah,
blinded by it all. You're here to to show up for whoever your clients are, right? It's just remarkable. So for when you are working with your clientele and supercharging them, um what is one, since I love that you said like the real estate is you are that real estate that we need to invest. How can someone start that investment within themselves where they may feel, I'm sure you have a lot of these clients that come with feeling a little lost. Where do I even begin? How do I start the self investment?
how do I start? How, Claudia? Like what to do first, even if they
How
have
do I,
joy.
yeah,
Sure, that
mhm.
actually ties in with the other. I didn't answer your first question. So Bob Proctor was one of my mentors. And
Mm-hmm.
he passed away about 3 years ago. He was in the movie The Secret. And you said I knew what I want, and yes, I did. And it took longer because, of course, I hadn't written it out, which is the first step, and I want to share that with our precious
Yes.
listeners here. And before I share that, that's why even uh, though I knew what I wanted, there was a part of me that, of course, a big part of me didn't know all of this that we're talking about today, the awareness, right? So I actually wanted to get on the stages and rah people, really supercharge, right? But what does Zig Ziglar say about motivation? It's just like bathing. You bathed yesterday, you got to bathe today. We're bathing tomorrow, otherwise, big problems, right? Right.
Yes, very true.
So that is an aspect because of my enthusiasm and high energy levels that I was born with. And that is a small aspect of what I do in our supercharged community. What I really do is get you present to who you really are. I love the word remembering that you said, because my team manages my socials, but every now and then I like to inspire people, and I always put a story like I love the beach, like, right, and I put remember who you are, so whoever tunes in, it's a positive space for them to actually remember who they are. So when I stumbled upon the work, this is the one thing, if you hear nothing from this conversation, you hear this. This is a game changer, and I wish, and not I wish, I want to take this to the our precious billions. But yeah, I do wish that we knew this in childhood, like people. But this is our human journey, right? It's the only prerequisite, Claudia, to having it all, and I mean all, is knowing what we want. And more than 99% of the population I first speak to haven't taken pen to paper to write down what they want. And everything I teach, although I don't teach theology, is biblically proven. It says, without a vision, the people perish. We don't know where to go. I don't put it in MapQuest. I want to go to LA. I end up in Canada, like,
All
right,
right.
right,
Exactly. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So,
100%.
so that's the first. So, and then there's a caveat: we don't get what we want. We get who we're being. So, step number one is know what you want. Be crystal clear on your vision. And if you have the vision, as I shared earlier, the creator put that seed, he planted it in you so that you get to bring it to pass. That's the journey, and all the pain is part of that. It's beautiful. I'm beyond grateful for the pain, because now I have the deepest compassion for whoever I coach, or someone new that I meet on the street that I don't know. Everyone has a story, and we're all lugging around that trauma, as you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
So we don't get what we want, we get who we're being, and that's the self concept, identity, self image. Those are the first two steps.
Wow, I love that's powerful. We don't get, what was it? You
Yes.
get who you.
So this is the big that I never knew this. The only prerequisite to having it all, anything you want, is knowing what
Mm-hmm.
you want.
Right.
And there's a caveat: we don't get what we want, we get who we're being.
Right. We get who we're being.
Yes.
Exactly.
So that's
And I
what we're
love
working.
that. I love that. There's a caveat. It's a small print. We don't get what we want, we get who we're being. And that's really important, right? Because that applies to so many things, even if we don't, right? Let's say just a normal average lost person and they just keep repeating patterns. Mostly people only notice it when they're dating the same person.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
usually the pattern that people pick up first, right?
Yes.
Oh, I keep dating the same type of person. Why? Why? Because you keep showing up as the same person.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And that's the caveat, right? Like, yes, but now if you have a dream, right? And
Yes.
you write it and you do the manifestation aspect,
Yes.
um, again, who are you being in that space? Like as you're growing, it's just gonna evolve, right? Is that what's occurring, right? A person keeps evolving and what is being brought to them is what it's who they are at the time
Yes.
space. Hmm.
That's it. And who you are at your core is literally Christ consciousness. Your perfection, as I said, in your DNA. In your ways of being, not so much. And who am I to judge? I always say this in all my free master classes, and I remind my precious clients, my peak performers, I live in the biggest glass house. That's the joy of being a human being in this flesh, if you will. Part of the joy, Claudia,
Yeah.
is to unbecome. That's the chipping away, because we're perfect. David was perfect. He was chipping away to unleash and emerge into who he truly is. And that's our job here.
Yeah.
It's truly what we get to do every day.
Yeah.
That's the game we get to play every day with the
It,
universe, with our
yeah.
precious souls that we
Yeah.
get to encounter.
How do you, as you're working with your clients, right, and they're need help, obviously that's why they're here, and they need the biggest cheerleader they could ever possibly have, which is you. Um, yeah, like
Hilarious.
fist boom ba, that's you, totally you. Um, how how do you because you've gone through your struggles and you understand, right? Everyone's journey is different, right? What are some we did discuss a little bit that some people may not know what they want. How does a person really sit with themselves? So how do you recommend a person to sit with themselves and find out what that is? Because I feel that that's a lot of people, right? They don't know what they want.
Yes.
And how do you begin to know what you want, right? Because you could think, like, let's say, I'm gonna keep it very simple. Let's say you're at the ice cream shop and I'm asking you, what do you want? I don't know, and I get you pistachio, and you're like, oh, I don't like pistachio, and you're like, but you didn't tell me, so I just chose this, and I ask you again, what would you like instead? Anything but pistachio, and I bring you Rocky Road, and you're like, no. You
Yes.
see where I'm going,
Yeah.
right? So how does a person eventually say, I want vanilla chocolate swirl? Because that's what I want. Not, I don't know.
Yeah.
So how does a person be able to get closer to that space?
Well, such a fantastic question, Claudia. Thank you for asking this. It's right now, whoever's listening in, once you're live, okay. First thing you do is you take pen to paper and actually write that vision. And you are 100% accurate that we forgot to dream. Okay. As I said, first step, we were born in the perfect vibration. And then 3, 4 years old, 1 minute you're an astronaut, the next minute you're a nurse, like just living life carefree until we were
Right.
put into the system. We were told to sit down, a version of shut up and sit down at the corner, have to raise my hand to go to the bathroom, have to line up to get into class. It goes on, right? So we actually stopped dreaming. We are dreamers. We know exactly what we want. When we turn this off, by the way, I was on uh, not just a water fast last week, but also a mental detox and digital detox. So off
Very
for 10
nice.
days from the phone, right? No
Very
social
nice.
media whatsoever.
That's
So
good.
I think that this is really, I love how you said it, you're using it for your work. Yes, because we want to use it is one limitless mind, which is you, Claudia, which is everyone listening in, and there's infinite supply. So, Claudia having more doesn't mean less. Created the internet that thank God you can be in LA, I can be in Dubai, and
Yeah.
hours apart, and we can make an impact for our mankind,
Yes.
right? And we could also use this against us. So choose to use it for you, right? That's one. So once my invitation, the first step then to break it down a little, Claudia, would be go to somewhere that inspires you. Let's say it's the beach, it's the nature, the mountains. What nature is really healing, right? Mother Nature, so beautiful beyond words and measure, glorious. Sit down with a pen and paper, right? Yeah, I heard your sunset stories too. Me gustan los dos,
Yes.
los dos. Um, Take pen to paper and just start writing. And if it's your ideal day from start to finish, all right? Because there are infinite realities, Claudia. When I say it's done,
Yes,
I
right.
used to say it earlier, it's done to be positive. It's done because everything is energy. Energy can't be created nor destroyed. It's already here. And that
That's
limitless
right.
genius is you. They just, yeah, we're just not, yes, yes, sing it, girl. Shout it out loud. That's fantastic. I love your energy. So from there, just sit down quietly, turn the phones off, get a nice cup of tea or coffee, whatever you enjoy drinking, and start just thinking, if there were no considerations of time, of money, of time gone by, of your current circumstances, which are a big lie, of what's going on in the world, which is a lie, because if we buy into it, it gets to be real for you. And if you don't, like I've turned off the news since 2017, I don't listen to it at all. It's not part of my reality. Of course, I have the deepest compassion for our humankind. This is the work I do to support, to raise our
Yeah,
country, right?
right.
So I'm doing my work in a different way. So, and then write down from start to finish, how would you want to start your day? Who would you want to start with? What kind of super juicy relationship would you love to be in? How would you want to feel? How do you dress? What contribution do you bring to our mankind? What gifts are you sharing with our world? What charities do you want to serve? Which countries do you want to travel to? It could be all of the countries, and I hope it is, and right. And it's like, what legacy do you want to leave behind? And then from there, it's start to finish. It's a short couple of pages. Ideally, once you've written it, remember it's a first draft, so just start. And if it's hard to start that, I don't want to create hard. It's all a creation, guys, right? Write down a want list. What do you want? This car, that car, this. Well, what kind of human being do I need to step into to own that car? Because we know, Claudia, on average, what is it, 6 months to 2 years, the ones who earn all the lotto millions lose it all.
Yeah,
It's
you use
because
it
of
all,
that. It's the identity.
right?
I don't have the identity of someone who can keep the money, who can have the money, who has wealth consciousness, who has multi-billionaire or multi-millionaire consciousness. So I'm not worthy of it. Cancel, cancel. We're worthy of all of the, it's our divine birthright. And it is your divine birthright. But really feed your consciousness with that versus something else, right?
That's
So
right.
write that, and then ideally you're reading it every day, first thing in the morning, last thing at night. Get an app. I don't have any stocks in it. I should, or I should be an affiliate. I've recommended it for like 10 years now. It's called Think Up. It's free, the first version. Once you love it, it's the best investment. Uh, and then on that app, you can record your affirmation, your vision, your affirmations too, but your vision on the paid version, because it's longer. And then you can record your self-image, then you listen to it every day while you're cooking, while you're driving. Flood that subconscious of yours with beauty, with joy, with peace, with freedom, with abundance, with love, because with ease, because that is your divine birthright. All the rest is a big lie. And the more I'm waking up every day, Claudia, I'm just starting to scratch the surface of what's possible. The more I realize we've been fed with infinite lies. And our work is, again, chipping away to unleash the shackles that they keep tightening on us. Because this, I believe, is also done by design.
Truly,
You know,
absolutely, yeah.
3-year-old to a 90-year-old I've seen. And you go
Mm-hmm.
out, and see people, everyone is on the phone. And this is very harming our soul, literally. Does that answer for the first bit for the vision?
All I can say is that we all just went to church listening to you just now. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
I'm listening to her and I'm just like, this is sermon right now. Like, she is stating all kinds of truths and simple. How easy was that? Okay, what would my ideal day look like? Let's write it down. And you keep reading it until you refine it and refine it and refine it, because you start to notice, like, oh, maybe that doesn't fit. Because maybe that's not what I really wanted. I didn't want Rocky Road and pistachio. You know what? I'm gonna go try vanilla. I'll be right back.
Yes.
Okay, not that one. Okay, let me go try chocolate. What if they combined the two? What you see, like, this is what Susan's trying to help you do. You're chipping, like she keeps using David, like was it Michelangelo?
Yeah.
Michelangelo chipping, making David, like, right? I'm sure he was like, I don't like the curvature of the nose. Right? He had an idea until he perfected David, and David is now what we know, right? So I love that. No, it was church. It was really, and it was so simple. It was just so simple. I loved it. And then I love that the reading it, like recording it. I love this aspect of recording it for yourself because you know how we always listen to podcasts, podcasts, YouTube. We're just needing some affirmation, and I don't mean like a mantra. We're needing someone to affirm that
Yeah,
we are deserving, right, of XYZ.
totally.
But who better than your own voice?
Yes. 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 Amen.
Blew my mind. I'm listening to you. I'm just like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Because the
yeah,
magic is you.
yeah,
I'm a guide. I'm a servant. I'm humbled to guide you. That's the magic is you. The answers are all within. You know that. Oh, I love that.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was great. Yes, because like I listen to things, but I'm not looking for affirmation, but I'm like, wait, if I heard myself speaking as if the future was the present,
Yes.
and Susan said something to me, what I'm doing is I'm pulling the future to me. It's just something she said before we started here.
Yes.
And if I'm listening to my me of my future, she's tomorrow I'm gonna open the door and be like, "Oh, it's here." Oh,
Yes.
how did I get what?
Yes.
I, Susan, guess what? I'm in Dubai today. Are you in Dubai? Because
Yes.
I'm teaching mindfulness at this
Yes.
school. Are you?
Oh,
You know what I mean?
I love it. Look at your good. You just loved her. I love it. Claudia, it's like that. The Remax that filled up all my spots, the number one. God bless
Right?
them. If they're listening here right now, big shout out. They're just brilliant souls. I had interviewed them and not gone with them. I'm like, no, I don't like the interviewer.
Wow.
Rare I
Right?
like someone.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd
Mm-hmm.
gone with another Remax real estate company. And the owner, God bless him, who's one of my biggest advocates, he's pinned on my Instagram. Has made such a difference in my life. He asked, he goes, "You interviewed with us, but you didn't," and he knew and the truth. And he's like, "What's your goal, young lady? What's your vision?" I'm like, "I want to touch the billions." He goes, "I'm going to help you do that." So it doesn't even matter like what's happened. Like, look at that. The Remax that I was with didn't even give me an opportunity to become a speaker or coach with their company. And you have another Remax that I've introduced.
Wow. Yeah.
So you hold the vision, and we will never know the how. We don't know how it's going to happen. We don't
Right.
know when it's going to happen. And a biggest
Mm-hmm.
lie, one of the biggest lies, is that manifestation takes time. It doesn't take time. It takes alignment. And that's the part two. That's the self-image. That's also known as identity self-concept. If we don't feel worthy of having money, or we think we've grown up in a certain way, we shouldn't have money, or money is bad, or money doesn't grow on trees, or it's hard to earn money, or it's hard to keep it, then we're going to get to be right about it. So for our precious listeners, the second step is to create a one short paragraph. Once you've created the vision, well, what kind of beingness would that individual embody? And that's all I am statements in the present tense, because the subconscious only understands in the
Right.
present. And
Yeah.
ideally chant it in front of the mirror every day, record it. Once you've written it, read it, record it. But to make it deeper, you can speak deep into the window of your soul, your eyes, your subconscious. That's your heart of hearts. That's the emotional body, right? The emotional mind. And that subconscious only understands through emotion. So look at the mirror and just, I am, like one of my first ones in my self-image is that I am my word. That's why I remember when the
Yeah.
if I say I'm going to be there, you better.
Yes.
And this is an individual, just to empower you guys, that if I can do it, you truly can. I used to miss out on my own coaching calls before they were paid, thinking, oh, they don't pay me, I can do whatever. Call
Right.
in sick
Right.
and lie, Claudia. At the last,
Mm-hmm.
send a WhatsApp message. This is
Wow.
who I was
Right.
being, right? To say, sorry, I'm sick again. And then I ate a lot of humble pie, a lot of humble pie. Cleaned up with them. These are the originals, Claudia, who have been with me, because Supercharge now 5 years in January it was, right? That it was born officially, like as a company. But I've been doing this for 2-3 years with the same gents for free at the beginning. I charged them, they stayed. I cleaned up my lies, they stayed. I up their investment, they stayed, and they're now going on to 7, 8 years with me. So ate the humble
Wow.
pie. Told them I was never sick.
Right?
I was, being who I was being, a bankrupt way of
Mm-hmm.
being. I fessed up. I cleaned it
Right?
up. I said I'll never miss a day again. I've never missed a day.
Wow.
Yeah,
I wanted to bring up two things you said that were really powerful.
please.
Manifestation doesn't take time, it takes alignment.
Yes.
Just
Yeah.
mind blowing.
Yes.
That spoke volumes on its own, right? Because that is also the lie, right? Oh, it takes time, right? Because it's coming from the 5D to come here, right? So, because especially now that we're in this beautiful portal, it'll be here in seconds. You're like, I want, yeah, bing. But it's, I think, not only it does that everything was perfect, but I think that for most people the lie is also the fear of it actually happening
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that makes it come, it makes it arrive slower because
Yeah.
now you've implemented the subconscious fear, right? And now, speaking of subconscious, the second thing you said was um the subconscious only speaks in the now.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That was also truly powerful. So that statement blows up so many other things where me, I'm teaching mindfulness, which is the now, right? But now when you said that, what came in was, all right, if the subconscious only speaks in the now, then who is speaking in the past and who is speaking in the future if it's not your subconscious, right? So you see where I'm going here?
Yeah.
So who is speaking? If it's not the now, which Susan and I are in alignment in that way, like it's here now, it's not. But even so, for me, right? Because it took me some time to realize my remembrance,
Yes.
right? That not only, yes, the present moment's important, but it's a tool to
Yeah.
have manifestation. It's a tool to believe in what you can as the master of your reality,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So very powerful. Those two things remarkable. I was just like, yes, Susanna, yes.
Oh, thank you, Claudia. But also, what who is speaking is the subconscious programming, the bankrupt programming. So the subconscious is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful servant, but it's a goddamn awful master. So it
Yeah.
it's to master us. It's like yesterday will be a version, today will be a version of yesterday, tomorrow will be a version of today. Give or take a couple of things, we may change our clothes, what we eat. It's gonna be almost the same, even with the clothes and what we eat, quite frankly,
Right.
right? And
Right.
here,
Right.
those days become literally our lives, and the present as philosoph. I don't want to get into philosophy. It truly is all we have. Like we don't know if we're here the next millisecond, and it's the fastest way to manifest anything is being in the present, is being in gratitude for this moment, and then you've raised your vibrational frequency so high that, as you mentioned, Claudia, about yeah, we think it's going to take time, and sometimes yes, there is a gestational period, and the gestational period is also because we're not aligning, right? We're not
Right.
ready because
Yes.
we're not being that person,
That is
right?
correct. Yeah.
So that is really the biggest key to every day. My entire work is to step into that highest version of myself because there are infinite realities, and I'm
Mhm.
working every day to become that higher version of Susan, if you will.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's beautiful. And that leads me into this space, right? No, let's get into philosophy. Let's get into some spirituality. Let's break down some walls. So as you're doing this work with the clients, how do you tie in, the spiritual aspect, right? Because everybody comes from different backgrounds in that because it's we know what spirituality is, the relationship with self to the divine. It's simple, but there's people who are religious right now. There's all the whole other
Yeah.
situation at play, right? How do you help your client to collaborate within that space for themselves? How does
Yeah,
their religious spirituality come into play while you're helping them supercharge themselves, so to say?
I've been asked that question. Thank you, Claudia. I think so far, so I have Sikhs, Hindus, Catholics, Muslims, atheists, uh, 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 from the Jewish faith. I think when I teach the law of attraction, they all resonate. So they haven't been stopped at the religious, because they're all really teaching the same thing,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
No, we
Uh,
know that. Yes, truly.
where they've been stopped at, not through the teachings, is their own, like, and I'm not saying this about all Catholics, okay, but some of my Catholic peak performers, precious beloved, have like huge, have had huge money blocks because of not what the Bible taught, but how it was taught in their church in Catholicism, right? So it's more that when it comes to religion, it's like some religions, like Sikhism, apparently abundance is like taught in a beautiful way, right?
Yes.
So it
Mhm,
depends
yes.
on so religion wise, no one has ever. I the more I talk to them like this, because I have a mind gym with them, I'm on with them every day, right? And that's this the reason, and I know you're highly aware, so yes, you're nodding yes, but whoever is listening in, this will resonate with the essence of who you are when you shut up down the noise, and anything is possible. Like when I had gone to my first personal development event years ago and they said that, I'm like, what are they trying to sell me? What are they on? And when I
Right.
realized that truth, I start all of my free master classes worldwide, Claudia, with those 3 words. I said, it's 3 words, anything you want. The only thing getting in our way is ourselves. And it's our work every day. What else would we do? The time's going to go by anyway, right? And the money isn't spent, it's invested. It's a big distinction. Who would
Right.
you invest it in other than yourself? We invest in so many other things. We waste it on so many other things. Why not give number one of one? It took 1 in 400 trillion for you to be here. If that's not a miracle, like I was doing another class yesterday. I created a new course just on for Mondays called Manifest Mondays. It's like pinch yourself, I told them. You're alive. I'm like, did you wake up pinching yourself? Most said no, right? But really, if you think about it, so many people didn't wake up today, Claudia.
100%. 100%. I know. I mean, I got hit by a car. I almost didn't wake up one day. Like, so it's possible. We just don't know when we're here and when we're not. And again, this is Susan's sermon, her church right now. She's speaking all the truths and all the volume. And I that question was important because of your beautiful answer, right? There's nothing in the way. Even your belief of the higher power, it's just you really blocking yourself from the dream life that you are just so deserving of. And we've all been there. Susan's been there. I've been there. I'm still shedding some skin. It's still a process. But it's already happened. It's done. We're doing it. And then allowing, right? If you decide to work with Susan, I don't see why you shouldn't. But if you do decide to work with whomever, make sure that you get this everything that she's saying. That this, even just listening to you, Susan, it's like we're not having a consultation, but you're the cheerleader here, and I've again, I've interviewed so many people in peak performance, actually, men and women, but your energy is so exuberant. It comes through the video. It comes through energetically. It is. That's why I said you're the first conversation we had. I was like, oh, someone can be a cheerleader like that for you? That's different. That was you. And I was like, oh, I don't have friends that I need new friends that can cheerlead me like this because I need this energy. I know it's done. It's belief done. Like, yeah, it's done. Okay, sure. So I love that because that's just helping people understand, like, um, yes, there are blocks. Yes, there is trauma. Yes, there's all these things, right? But we don't have to do it alone. That's what I'm saying, Susan supercharging you because she has your back. And tell us a little bit more about some of the workshops that you are offering. You said you just created a new one. So what can people expect when if they decide to work with you?
Oh, you are so kind. Thank you so much for. Um, I was going to say you're going to make me cry at the beginning when, and then now again you put tears in my because you're making me realize how much I'm living in my purpose. Like I really believe this is from the Creator, this gift, and I really owe it to our one world. You're giving me more goosebumps. I just love you. You're such a beautiful woman and soul. You're so glorious. And the distinction, Claudia, yes, I cheerlead, but it's far beyond that. I want you to get to a place where you're doing it for yourself because me doing it can only take you so far. And it's really nice to hear. But before it was like I didn't know my own divinity. So it would have been inauthentic to say, hey, you're a beautiful woman, a beautiful soul. But now that I understand, we're literally one. We're mirror images of each other.
Yes.
Whatever I'm triggered by another, it's not them, it's me. If I don't
Yes.
like them, it's not them, it's me. And if I love
Yes.
you, it is you. I think it's you.
I love
You
that.
start out, you're so lovable, but it's the love within that is right radiating, and vice versa.
Right.
Of course, you know that,
Yes, of
right?
course.
I love how
Yes.
you laugh there. So it's really, it's I really believe it's part of my divine purpose. This is my childhood dream, as I mentioned, to remind every precious soul of who they truly are. And we need more precious souls reminding each other. And there, you've just reminded me. I said I was
Yes.
almost going to cry. Thank God I did it on a
Yeah.
podcast. Could happen, people.
I've done it. I've done it in my but
But
no, it is that you are, I guess the reflection truly, but that what is saying to me to the listeners, what kind of people do you want reflecting back to you? Do you
yeah,
want people like Susan and myself, or do you want people like, I don't think that's for you. I don't think that is, I don't believe that you should. What kind of people do you want to reflect a certain aspect of you? Is it the doubting aspect or the yes, let's go, sis boom ba, cheerlead, let's go, go, yo, like,
I love
well, who do you want? And that's what Susanna's saying. Like, who do you want in your corner? And, not to diminish the people that are around you that are Debbie Downers, but they are also a reflection of you, and you're choosing that. You're choosing that because you're not ready. And
yes,
that's okay. No judgment, no shame. You're just not ready, so you're okay to just hear the down aspect
yes,
versus the up, the
yes,
cheer, the joy aspect until you are, is what we're talking about here. When you're ready to be reflected back an aspect of yourself that you've never seen before, because I've experienced that when I started this podcast in 2021. I'll never forget this beautiful conversation I had with three other souls in one. And after I hung up the whole conversation, I was started to cry and I was confused. I'm like, why am I crying? I'm not sad. I'm not happy, but, and it was, I've never had such an outpour of my cup. My cup was overfloweth. And
oh,
so the tears overrunneth
oh,
because I was in
oh,
such joy of being in an alignment, but I've never experienced. And also, everyone's like, "Oh, reflecting back beauty," but in the beginning, for the listeners, it is uncomfortable because we've never surrounded ourselves with these beautiful people because we'd never believed that we are these beautiful people.
yes, yes. And everyone listening is beyond beautiful, beyond words and measure. You're such a beautiful soul, Claudia. Thank you for this podcast and for having me. And maybe we'll do a round two, round three. Who knows? Maybe
Who
not.
knows? We'll be live from whatever country we're meeting
Yes.
at.
Oh, that would be yes.
We're doing a live podcast.
Yes. Done. I love it.
Done.
That's
Yes.
what
Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out how to make it mobile. Easy peasy. Just, you can just take a mini mic and a camera. That's it. But yes, back to the
Back to
beautiful work, right? Your workshops and things.
Oh,
Hmm.
thank you. So the main thing that offering is a mind gym. Being a realtor, I had multiple coaches. Each call was maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks, and it wasn't really enough to keep us rah-rah and motivated and accountable. The mind gyms are rah-rah, accountability, motivation, inspiration, and most importantly, studying ourselves. Bob Proctor had said the only difference between each one of us is awareness,
That's
right?
right.
So we're
Oh,
yes, we're unlearning
mhm.
every day. We're to gain awareness. That's why the ones that have been with me the longest have had crazy, fantastic results. I mean, imagine studying every day for 7, 8 years, right? Because otherwise, we're fish in water. We don't even know in water.
Yeah,
If you do it
right.
for a short period, you go into a bigger tank, and then
Yes.
you're still in water. My work with all my precious souls is for us to build wings so that we fly out of the damn tank, right? So that's one. That is one. It's the mind gym. It's a daily call like this with me on Zoom live in the morning so that I can supercharge them. Of course, there's a lot of time off. Like I said, I was off last week doing my water fast and digital detox. But for those that don't want it to be daily, I've created Manifest Mondays. It's a Monday call to get you into Money Monday, Momentum Monday, Motivational Monday, Mindset Monday, and Manifest Monday. And we do everything we do in the daily groups, except it's in tiny little, it's a half hour in and out. It gets
Right.
you know jumpstart your week. But for those who want to look at freebies also that I offer, I do a live every Monday on my private Facebook group, which everyone is welcome in. Every Friday on Instagram, again, unless I'm off. I'm at Supercharge with Susan, and we have worldwide master classes. Actually, I'd love for whoever wants to come. They're free. We will have one in April. The date isn't set yet. You'll be one of the first to know, Claudia, so that you can. Yeah, we will. So it's free masterclass. It'll be a 5-day event to introduce you to and dive deeper because we only unfortunately have a short period of time here together.
Right, right,
Yeah.
exactly. Wow. That one, that worldwide, that's amazing. I love those type of communities because you what I love about the worldwide type of communities mindset there is you don't realize how you can affect others in another country.
Yes.
You
Oh,
really
listen to
don't
you.
know.
Look at
Yeah,
what you're doing. You
I
are
mean, I had
multitasking.
one. It was a mindfulness community, and it was an Indian man. He reached out to me on LinkedIn, and he asked me he had some concern about his daughter, and he wanted advice on what I'm having a disconnect in our our relationship as father son and we father daughter, and we never did. She's giving me a hard time. But what do I do, right? And I'm not gonna sit there. You know when you're on your mission and an alignment, I can't just write back. Okay, that's great. Here's my workshop. No, I answered the question.
Oh,
And you just answer the call. You just know spirit is gonna tell you if you're in alignment, where's your worth, and when you apply that financial aspect of return, or if you don't need that, you'll get a return regardless. It doesn't always have to come financially. So for me, I gave him advice, and he was so ever thankful, right? And he messages me on Christmas to this day. Hey, I want you and your family. Just I
oh,
don't know. I've never met this man, but I affected because he needed help with his daughter, and I can help, right, in my mindfulness space. And just that is what I want to bring. So if you want to come to Susan's thing, I'm gonna put it on when she has it ready, of course. I'll put it on the podcast and the links and everyone can join. But I just wanted to share that story so the listeners out there don't like it's not only the community you live in, it's the world community, as Susan's been talking about this whole time. And you have to come and share your story, share your journey. We don't know how we affect everybody until we show up.
oh, you're
And beautiful women like Susan create these beautiful platforms. I have this, of course, but
so
to yeah, but also, I'm not the only one. There is Susan, there is Brett Hill, who I interviewed, and he was the one that I met, this Indian man. You know, it's just like all these spectacular, magnificent human beings. And I feel like, talking to you, Susan, that, you know, you're not only, but this maybe is it is you just supercharging me, but
Oh, Claudia,
I
oh,
do. You like, I feel you. Like, also as an intuitive, I'm just like, sis,
oh,
boom, ba, go,
oh,
go. Truly, I really do feel like doing
Claudia,
that.
come on.
But for the listeners, just I want, like, I love how you even said earlier in this conversation, like, I wasn't always supercharged. I had my moments, and I had to kind of fake it till I made it a little bit, right? You kind of said that. We all have been there, and it's hard, I know, to comprehend, to experience a joy you never known it existed because we forgot. That's
Yes,
all it is, because we have experienced it, like Susan has said, but
yes,
we just forgot. So it's scary because I've experienced people, and I know you have, Susan, too, where there's people that are so afraid to open to love and to joy because of the pain,
yes,
right? And but what's worse, right? Neglecting a life that you've always dreamed of and
yes,
deserving of because it's your birthright and it's just been waiting for you to claim it, or just live in the sad, depressed space of hurt and suffering
yes,
and never go anywhere and do anything and go to bed at the end of your life and
yes,
regret what wasn't done
yes,
because we were afraid of love and joy. That's just want to say it out loud because it should sound crazy to you because it is crazy, right?
yes, yes. That was so beautifully said, Claudia. Thank you. What Marianne Williamson says, a version of it, I hope I'm not slaughtering it too much, is we're scared of our greatness at the end of the day.
Yeah,
We're scared of our
yeah,
light,
right.
right?
And
And
it just, yeah, to like the world is upside down if we have that fear.
yes, but the fear is a whole lie. It's not who we are, and the opposite of fear in our spiritual world is love. The opposite of love for us isn't hatred, it's fear. So
It,
we're either in victim consciousness, which is fear, or victor consciousness. Everyone listening in, who you truly are is a big V, victor. And if you are facing being in victim consciousness, I know all too well about it. I was in it for most of my life. I played the blame game of, oh, it's the government, oh, it's the economy, oh, it's the taxes, oh, it's this, oh, it's that. It's none of it. It's us. Everything in the outside will change the minute you transform on the inside. And thank you so much, Claudia, for being such a huge, loving, passionate advocate of mine. For whoever wants to come on, come on up. I'm humbled to be your servant. And if it's not me, hire a coach, because
yeah,
1 plus 1 in our work doesn't equal 2. Claudia, 1 plus 1 equals 11 to infinity. Something the mind can't fathom, because this isn't what we're taught. Quantum leaps is our divine birthright. Jumping timelines is our divine birthright. Living in abundance, and when I say abundance, I don't mean only money. Abundance in all areas is our divine birthright. And that scarcity is a lie. Scarcity is man made. It only happens through our thoughts. You become what you think about predominantly. And don't believe a word I say. Look around you about the abundance. And even if it's an abundance of BAD stuff, I don't like to call it, there's no good or bad in the law of attraction, but let's say bad stuff, it's also an abundance. There's no lack other than in our thinking. And the only key to all of it is awareness. That's why I say get a coach. If it's something, get a coach. Gain awareness. And I'll give an example, Claudia. We're, let's say, in an extremely luxury condo, okay, in an extremely luxurious island, right? And this is how awareness works, is that, let's say someone is cleaning, they're taking care of the electricals and it's underground. That's all they're aware about. They don't know about the luxury of the building. Someone living on the third level has much higher awareness than that young man, because remember, no one is better. It's just levels of awareness that we're different at. They they way better than, right, but they can't see the beach in front of them. If you go to the 18th floor, you see the beach. Then you have the guy on the penthouse who not only owns the whole building, he has his helipad landing over. Now he owns multiple buildings like that around the globe. You choose. Which one do you want? If it's too scary to start to dream of being the penthouse guy, why not be on the 18th floor and enjoy that glorious nature and the beach and the sun? Why be in the dungeon?
That's right.
Right? It's really a decision.
Yeah, I love
That
that.
right? Or a
Mhm.
trip we take to a 5-star resort. Someone's taking it, someone's cleaning the bathrooms. That person is no better than the one person cleaning. No better whatsoever. That is, everyone is God's child. And then the person who owns the resort, and then multiple others around the globe. It's only levels of awareness. Don't you think we owe it to ourselves to unleash so that we can actually, what else did we come here for? This,
That's
we
what I'm saying.
literally landed on planet Earth to experience joy and to be our free selves. Yet most of us are shackled in the prison of our own minds.
I don't know how else I would end this podcast. That's perfect. Like, I'm done. I'm leaving.
Girl,
That was
funny.
spectacular. No, that those are great words to, I mean, if I don't know, I feel this entire podcast. If by the end of this and you listen to it and you're not motivated, just call us. Like, what's up? How far in the mud are you? Like the homeless guy in the sewer? Talk to us. Like, how do if there's something, a spark in you, like, I want to go to the 18th floor, I just don't know how. Reach out. Reach
Yeah,
out. All the people that I interview all the time, right? Everybody says the same thing. If it's not me, pick someone else. But
yes,
also,
please.
everyone's also available just to
Yeah.
even ask a question.
Yeah.
Ask a question.
Always here, always.
Mhm.
This is my life's devotion and dedication. I'm here to serve. Thank you for putting that out there, Claudia. And if they really don't know how, go back. It's pen to paper first thing. Create it. Say now that the seed is planted, excuse me, not the other way, right? That I want this, write it down. Then what kind of individual would you show up to be as? And if you are in our deepest compassion and love, know that this too shall pass. Know that everything is temporary, and know that today you can start better. Claudia, in your brilliant podcast there, and always you say that like the breath is our power. That's the present. And come back to your breath, breathe. That literally, and then pinch yourself. That means you're alive. So many
That's
people
right.
didn't, right?
Yeah.
And so start from there, go for a 5-minute walk, 10-minute walk, sit in sunshine. All of these supercharged shifters will just make you feel good naturally because you were born to feel good. It's the lies that don't allow us to feel good and to be in the mud. And I know that all
Yes.
too well because I was in it for quite a long time.
Right.
There's
Right.
a way.
Exactly.
And we're here
Yeah.
for you, as Claudia said. Thank you, Claudia.
Yeah.
It's
Thank
I've had
you.
so much fun being with you, just beyond a
It's
delight.
Yes, truly. And we have a time difference, but all day I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna talk to Susan tonight. It's 9 p.m. here, but I'm just been so excited, and my whole day just was charged in that space of, right, of just like, yes, I can't wait. So I had a lot of productive day. I did, even just the energy of knowing that I'm gonna talk to you, the osmosis was supercharging me into, like, you know what? Let me clean up this. You know, let me make space for more. Right? So just even in that energy is what I want to say. Even if that energy just already inspires you, just talking to Susan or anyone that's in that, find that. Because like Susan said, why are we here then? If it's not love, then why are we here? We're not here for all the other lies. Those are our lies. We're not here to, what is it? Be born, work, pay taxes, and die. That's a lie.
Biggest,
That's not
biggest one.
the
Biggest one.
biggest one. Right? And it's okay because the generations before us, right? They didn't know better, but we are the generation breaking ground and breaking these walls, breaking down these lies
Thank you.
that don't serve our highest self, because if we sit with our parents, our great grandparents, our great great grand uncles and aunts, if you really ask them these deep things, they A, wouldn't know how to answer it, and B, they don't want to because they don't have the tools and the knowledge to sit with their emotions and their reality that isn't a dream. So but we have the comprehension, right? So our ancestors have grown in awareness, right, through time for us to even come here and hear what we're saying and have understanding and be like, no, yeah, there's some truth here that I'm grasping and I want to get to who I am and I want to remember. I didn't even know I had forgotten. That's definitely a thing also,
Yeah.
right? So today's beautiful conversation with you, Susan, has been beyond magical, beyond just inspirational and motivational. And no wonder you're doing what you because you are in alignment. So everything is you're in service. So of course, the universe, source, most high is like, Susan, at your mercy. What would you like today?
Well, right back at you. Thank you.
So thank you for
Likewise.
your no, thank you for your time, your energy, just for being you, truly.
Oh,
And
such a joy. You're such a delight. You're a
mm,
bundle of joy. You're a ray of sunshine. You are the sunshine, Claudia, and the sunset.
mm,
Wink, wink.
hey,
You're
this
such.
hey, hey, hey.
Ah, I
Everyone's
love
got to listen to that podcast with Kate.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
brilliant. I'm actually going to continue right after this. I have,
Yeah,
I have, yes, I didn't finish it because I wanted to hop on early to make sure this is going to
yeah.
work today. So
This is good, right, right.
for having me, it's such a delight. And if I could leave everyone with
Mm,
that you are divinity, what you
yeah,
said there about, I call all my precious performers GPBs, generational pattern breakers. It's really our duty, our responsibility, but it's also our privilege. What a joy to unbecome remove the shackles, to actually fully have fun every day and play this game, this beautiful adventure of life, and make it the grandest, juiciest vision and best adventure yet or ever.
that's right. Forever. Yes, truly. Because imagine you do this and the next generation that comes after you, how easy is it going to be for them?
Yes.
So, yes, thank you. Thank you, Susan. And to all the listeners out there, thank you all for collaborating and just listening and holding space for us today. That's incredible. I'm going to put all of Susan's links and wonderful workshops on down below in the podcast for anyone who's interested in working with Susan. And I am so as you're done with me here, you're going to continue to listen to my podcast and I'm hanging up with you. I'm going to put pen to paper after this. So I am excited. Yes, that's what I'm going to do. Once we hang up, because that was impactful before we even started. I was like, no, yeah, I do need to do that. I want to see it. I want to read it every day. I want to record it to myself. Like
Yes.
I'm still with everything you said. I'm like, no, I want to hear my own voice, programming my own subconscious, not other people's voice, with listening to my future self in the now. What? No, you've just what you've done today is just everything. I thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Can I
Mm,
offer you a call where you actually read it to me if you'd like?
yes. Oh my God. I would
Okay.
love that.
So we'll pencil that in
Amazing.
and write it. Thank you for writing.
Okay.
Thank you for taking care of number one of one. And whoever's listening in, if you're not inspired by Claudia to write your own, you're really cheating on yourself.
I agree.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank
Or
you so much.
much different. So please know your divinity and take pen to paper. Great work, Claudia.
Hey, thank you, everybody. And like she said, remember that the breath is the secret and always lead with love. And until next time, we will see you then. Bye.